The Austro-Hungarian Empire was one of the great powers of Europe in its day. Sadly, they are no more. But today, through the power of being good at video games, we can undo that horrible disaster. January 1st, 1936, and we will be playing as Hungary. That's right, I had a terrible week and I just want to have fun, and for me that means restoring Austria-Hungary with Horthy. Let's go. Iron Man mode on with historical focuses and bada bing bada boom. And today I'll also walk you guys through a couple of neat tricks I've picked up from a couple of my community members and also upcoming YouTubers Antisil and Hatless Spider. This should make forming Austria-Hungary a little less of a headache. Let's start with the army, just put them all under Hindi and have them exercise a little bit, not too much, a little bit of army XP. As for research, just the basics, nothing too fancy here for now. As for production, we'll want some more guns, we'll also need some artillery. We don't actually have any in production, and we could get some trains, but I'll take someone else's trains instead, and instead let's put some on close air support. The fighters are trashed, but the cast is actually alright. This is a good baseline to start with. As for focuses, we're gonna go with balanced budget and rush all the way down here to invite the Habsburg Prince. Construction, well, we do have time, so why not build a couple of civilian factories? Might as well. 4 should do. That leaves us with the intelligence agency. This is vital nowadays. Why? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. What do we need to do? We need to time things properly. For Austria, it's fairly simple. For Austria, all we really need to do is reintegrate the railroads and make sure they have a high opinion of us, and that gives us a 95% chance of the Austrians agreeing to join us when we do the appropriate focus, demand a referendum. That leads us to protecting Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia is not very inclined to agree. Now, you could keep re-rolling the event again and again and again and again, but I don't want to do that. Instead, what we are going to do is look at what Germany's doing. We need to be able to see Germany's focuses, not just the ones they've done, but the ones they're doing currently, and that is where the Evidenzbüro comes in. We're gonna pick some spies and we're gonna get some upgrades. We're gonna want the unfortunately named pills, as you always do. We want invisible ink, because this gives us a little more intelligence from operatives or network, and we're gonna want economy or civilian intelligence here. Other than that, I like to pick up commando training because it's a good trait, and then army department. Let's start with the basics. So what we're gonna do is spy on Germany intensely so we can get total civilian intel over 70%. We need 70% to be able to see their active focus. Now, why do we need to see their active focus? Czechoslovakia has a above 90% chance of agreeing to join you if and only if Germany is currently doing demand Sudetenland. So that is what we need to check. We need to be able to see when Germany is doing that, and world tension is over 20%. We can make sure both of those things happen, and that gives us an above 90% chance of success. Now, do note that still leaves us almost 10% chance of failure, so this is an RNG run. Suffer through it. And the first spy we get is a seducer. Excellent. Let's plop him down on Brandenburg. And we're going to keep going with the invisible ink. And then I'm going to grab the commando training and economy and army department. Meanwhile, yes, I know we don't have any steel. We're lacking steel, but we also don't have any civilian factories. We need them all for the intelligence agency. And with the first focus done, we have some political power. Let's get the silent workhorse, the obvious choice. Now, in terms of research, nothing really fancy going on here. The key things to look out for is make sure you pick up trucks eventually, rather early, because trucks are vital to supply. Definitely focus on a little bit of air as Hungary, especially Austria-Hungary. You have the industrial base for it, as well as tanks. I'm not going to hold your hand and tell you what the research went, but I'll give you a couple of pointers throughout the video. Should be easy enough. Basic machine tools done. I prefer to get dispersed industry. Concentrated works just fine. I just prefer dispersed. I think this is a little bit better in this scenario. In almost every scenario, really. We have another 150 political power. We're going to grab the elusive gentleman. We want to get our 3 spies as quickly as possible. Mostly to dunk on Germany, really. We're now getting the army department, and that should give us 5 upgrades, enough for 3 spies. Combine that with this guy, the elusive gentleman. 3 spies soon. And then we simply need to apply the correct amount of spies to Germany, infiltrate their civilian economy, and we should have enough civilian intel. Always pick seducers if you can. All right, that is the last upgrade to the agency. Now we can trade for steel. Who am I going to trade with? Sweden. Why? We're not going to fight Sweden anytime soon, so it's not a bad investment. Having just finished construction, I've decided to pick up trucks early. The sooner you get trucks, the sooner you can start building a little bit of a stockpile. It really helps with supply. Once you start spreading out over a significant front line, trucks are going to be vital. Start making them early. Hey, our third spy is also a seducer. I could get the commando, but Let's get the seducer. Realistically, I don't need all these boys in Germany at the same time. I just want to get ourselves a Habsburg. Now, for Germany, what we want to do is keep one spy, preferably your seducer, working on your intel network until it reaches 100. Once you get to 100, set it to quiet intel network. That reduces the chance of the spy getting caught. You don't want your spies getting caught. The other two can work on something else. They will infiltrate the civilian administration as early as possible. And meanwhile, we simply wait. We wait and we plan. You can see I've also stopped training. I figured I need a lot of guns for this, and I was burning more guns than I was making. And we have 150 political power. You got two choices here. After we invite the Habsburg, we're going to take a little sidetrack here into secret rearmament. You could save up the political power to go straight from civilian to partial mobilization. I don't think we need to wait that long. It's not going to matter that much. I'd much rather get military high command. I'm going to get the army offense expert first, and then save up political power to get the economy law fixed, because I want some ticking army experience. We're going to need to change our templates, and we're going to need to design tanks eventually. The more army experience you can get early on, the better. There we go. The world is right again. Habsburg sits on a throne somewhere. Time for secret rearmament. We will not be content with our little pink country. We want more. And that is Germany infiltrated. Good, good. And at the same time, our spy has maxed out the network. Set him to quiet until the other two return home. Now let's take a good look at Germany. Our intel is high enough. It's over 70%, and we can now see almost everything. The important thing is we can see their active focus, and this is what we need to see. We'll return to this eventually. We don't need to see it right now, but it's going to be vital for timing our focuses with Czechoslovakia. I'm also a bit of an idiot, and I don't do mathematics very well. I should probably, instead of picking the army guy here, gone up to like free trade, get a little bit more research speed, factory output, etc. out first, then gone to rearmament, and then work on my military staff, because I've not timed this very well with secret rearmament, but it doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. And we continue down the industry path for now. Now with Germany infiltrated, we don't really need the other two spies in Germany. Can't use them there anyway. Good places to put them would be Yugoslavia or Romania, or if you want to play for the long game, you can start sending them to the United Kingdom and infiltrating them if you feel like it. And secret rearmament done, that means partial mobilization, and probably grab free trade next. Get a little bit more construction speed, research speed, factory output, etc. We're not really giving away that many resources. Now, for focuses, we are now going to rush down to reintegrate the railroads. This also gives a little bit of a boost to Austria in their acceptance, and we want it to be as high as possible. There's enough RNG in this stupid formable nation as it is. Want to minimize it. Why do I punish myself by playing Austria-Hungary? I don't know. I just love the country. We got the trucks. We're going to take one off guns and put one on trucks, just so we're actually making these boys. Any fresh factories go towards guns. They go towards artillery, support equipment, and close air support. And I'm going to go the free trade. I'll probably go off free trade eventually, just because I don't want to give away all of my stuff. But for now, this is a good compromise. I probably should have taken this way sooner. Definitely should have taken this way sooner. Time to reintegrate the railroads. And this is our final stop. After that, we're gonna demand a referendum. You can take Austria by force, but I recommend against it, mostly because Austria is almost all mountains, and the Austrians will have a significant military there to oppose you, and you have no manpower. If you go with the referendum, you get their troops, you get their generals, you get their templates. It's just a better deal all around. Even if they say no, you can take them completely by surprise and have your troops in Vienna, Graz, and maybe even Klagenfurt before their army even is able to respond, just because they don't receive any warning. It's all done via event. Of course, the plan is to take them peacefully. All right, another 100 political power. Let's put it to work. Army regrouping expert. More army experience. Always want more army experience. If you're gonna rush an industrial thing, rush the machine tools. The production efficiency cap directly influences efficiency gain. The higher the cap, the more gain you have. In short, this will make your efficiency not only go up higher, but also go up quicker. Unless you're lacking build slots, of course, then go for the main industry line. We are not lacking build slots. No. Speaking of build slots, once those initial 4 civilian factories are done, just start spamming out military factories. Now, the next batches of political power are probably going to be spent on the military, both the air and land forces. I'm gonna get the armor specialist first because army experience, yo. And then we'll round it out with the air combat training expert and the ground support expert. Somewhere along the line, I'll also transfer over and get the light aircraft designer. I'll have to take a good long look at when I do that, though. There we go. The railroads have been reintegrated, and now we demand a referendum. All we have to do now is improve relations with the Austrians, get it to around 100 if you can. Should be easy. And Austria will have a 95% chance of agreeing with us. That's not a guarantee. Please don't hate me if they say no. It's the AI. It's a paradox game. There will be RNG. I'm gonna grab engineers because for some reason Hungary doesn't start with engineers. I want these so I can change my templates when we do get some manpower and we've integrated our neighbors. I'll probably look at getting anti-air next, or maybe fighter ones. We do have some time still. Now I wonder if I'm gonna have to restart this or not, because you can continue. You can annex them via military force if they say no. Honestly, save yourself the headache and just restart. There we go. Referendum demanded. Let's see what happens. Yay! Japan, no. Yay! Excellent. The referendum succeeds. You have a 90%, 95% chance, so odds are they will agree. Anyway, that gives us a significant amount of troops, as you can see. It also gives us a couple of templates. The ones you're looking for are the Schnelle Division. You want these, so you can put your Hussars out of commission. And I'm gonna put everything else out of commission as well, except for the Alpenjäger. What you're looking for is this. This is a pretty good baseline infantry division. This is a good frontline unit. Add an artillery piece to it, and you have my favorite unit. Add more support. But it's a cheap and effective template. We're not going to convert anything yet, though, because we cannot afford to. Next up, the restoration of Austria-Hungary. This will actually give us some cores, not only on Austria, but on many of the other parts. Speaking of the other parts, Austria is now occupied territory. You might want to set things to local police force. You might want to change your occupation template to the Schnelle Division, and make sure that occupation is actually, garrison, is actually set at a high priority. One more fun thing is, we can now replace our field marshal, who is really unremarkable, with Karl here, who is quite remarkable in that he's an improvisation expert, a trickster, a mountaineer, guerrilla fighter, and he has better stats. So congratulations, Karl. And with that, the empire is born anew. We're a nice white color. A lot better. Austria-Hungary, baby. This time, though, the capital is in Budapest, not in Vienna. We're not gonna take a focus for 70 days. Why? Well, it gives us PP, for one, but it allows us to look at what Germany's doing. And once Germany's done an entire focus, and we can chip in after that, we will always be 10 days ahead. Granted, we will lose 70 days of focus time, but in the grand scheme of things, 70 days is really not that much. So let's keep an eye on Germany for the next 70 days. Where are we? The war industrialist. We are about to start producing military factories. While I'm waiting for things to happen, I'm going to spend a little bit of army experience, mostly just getting the officer corps. It's a flat bonus to land doctrine cost and straight up more army experience. It's just the right thing to do for now. I will be going mobile warfare in my game because I want to play around with tanks. You don't have to. You can go with superior firepower. You can go with any of the doctrines. They will all work, but superior firepower and mobile warfare will suit Austria-Hungary best. Mobile warfare because it has some bonuses, and if you actually play with tanks, this is a very nice tree, and superior firepower is just flat out all round the best one. And army innovations, good, and we continue down towards the Győr program. I wish we had more manpower, though. You're really tight on manpower as Hungary or Austria-Hungary. It's not until you can click reintegrate the empire that you're a real country. Glorious fighters have been designed. We'll put them into production as well. We got our towed artillery. Towed anti-air. Sorry. Let's put 2 factories on that. I have 18,000 guns already in stockpile, and I will get all of the Czechoslovak guns, provided we're not super unlucky. So I'll take 2 factories off infantry equipment, put them on towed anti-air. Towed anti-air will pay dividends. Just invest in it early, put 2 factories on it early game, and slowly increase it as you need more, and you will thank me for this. Towed anti-air is one of the best things you can produce in the game. Even if you're going with green air, towed AA. We got another 150 political power. I could go for the tank designer now. Another option is the industrial concern or get the theorist, but the theorist isn't really worth it until we're really swimming in army experience. We got our extra research slot. Let's put it to work on armor. I like mediums, so I'm gonna go for 1934 medium tanks. And now we wait for Germany to do something funky. Alright, they are demanding Sudetenland. That's good. And world tension is over 20%. Thank you, Japan. Okay, so now we are going to set our national focus to protect Czechoslovakia. The combination of Germany doing Sudetenland and world tension being over 20% means we have an above 90% chance of the Czechs agreeing to be annexed. It's not 100%. You may get both of those other events still. If that happens, sucks to be you. Or me. We'll see in about 70 days. If world tension is not high enough, make some. Simply go to Yugoslavia, justify a war goal, jack up the world tension by 7%, and cancel it the moment you get the event for the Czechs agreeing to be annexed. Do whatever it takes. Oh god, holding my breath here. Germany is still doing demand Sudetenland. We just finished Protect Czechoslovakia. The event is gonna fire soon. So let's wait for that event. There it is. And I'm gonna have to restart. I hate this. I'm gonna restart a little bit until I get the right event. Again, I said it's not perfect. It is what it is. All right, and through the magic of editing, suddenly we have the right event. Now, very important. Do not click this away. Drag this off to the side if you must, but do not click this away. Check Czechoslovakia. As for focuses, let's just hold off for a little bit. You could just go down to domestic arms industry, but that is besides the point. Now, this game is almost identical, except for the fact that Germany took 70 days longer to get here. They took another focus in between here, meaning my research is a little bit more advanced, have a little bit more political power, and there was less world tension this time. I had to create some by justifying on Yugoslavia, so I can cancel that justification now. We have the event here at our disposal. So that is all of the tricks I needed to use to get here. Now we have one more trick to really break the game. Let's look at Germany, and we're gonna let that run out until we get... Yes. Until we get to the last day. You really want to slow it down here. You want to slow it down significantly. Free speed. Final day. Now we are at the final couple of hours. The moment we hit midnight, this is going to finish. There. Now they have no national focus set. Their focus finished. They have sent the event for Demand Sudetenland to Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia, because the AI needs to wait for some in-game ticks, hasn't actually decided yet. It hasn't clicked the event yet. And we're going to abuse the hell out of that because we have an event here at our disposal. And we're going to click that. And with that, we have just gobbled up Czechoslovakia. And Austria-Hungary is looking chunky. Once more, we have all we need. And Germany asked for that Sudetenland, but they asked Czechoslovakia, who no longer exist. And as a result, if I set the game speed to run, second Vienna Award. Well, guess what? The event Demand Sudetenland is gone. Missing in action and never to be seen again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you mess with the AI. We do have a little bit of manpower now because we got a lot of free stuff. We're going to reorganize the military a little bit. We want to get off Disarmed Nation as soon as possible. And that will be possible once we go to war. We'll be able to bump it straight up to limited conscription, maybe even extensive conscription if the war lasts long enough. But we are going to work on conserving a little bit of our army experience. First off, we're going to pick mobile warfare. If you go with superior firepower, don't do this. You'll have plenty of time to pick these later. You will just have to spend the raw army experience building up this division. This will be our armored division. This has to be good. This is what I'm going to run my military on. Now, because I am going with mobile warfare, I'm going to spend a little bit of army experience. I know it's not optimal. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Next up, I'm gonna pick Embrace. Ignore everything I just said. I am an idiot. I am 10 army experience short, but we'll be able to pick motorization drives, which means I can add free motorized units and free tank units to my tank design in a bit. Now you can see our manpower is dropping quickly. Before it completely tanks and sinks into all these new divisions here, get a couple of air wings up. CAS is going to be incredibly valuable, and you're also going to want a couple of fighters. Don't need that many, but you know, a couple is going to be useful. Now what Claim Transylvania is going to do, it's going to start a chain of events. Essentially, we're going to escalate the situation with the Romanians. We're going to be poking them. There are 3 different outcomes. Outcome 1, the most likely, is they give us North Transylvania. Outcome 2 is they give us the entirety of Transylvania, Crisana, and I think Banat. It's very unlikely. And outcome 3, well, we straight up go to war and we can get the backing of a mediator. And the mediator is the country you choose to help, you know, mediate your dispute with Romania. You can pick Italy, Germany, France, or the UK, and we're gonna pick France. Why? France is guaranteeing the independence of Romania. And if we play our cards right, and it comes to blows with Romania, France will back us. And with France backing us, that guarantee doesn't matter anymore. Of course, if France doesn't back us and we don't get anything out of it, we have other ways, but you'll see. All right, let's see how this broken event plays out. Romania refuses to give up Transylvania. Yeah, that's fine. Don't pick the first one. You really don't want to take the hits. They went too far this time. This gives us war preparations. This is temporary. It's going to go away at the next event in the chain. So we're going to make good use of this, justifying on our other southern neighbor, Yugoslavia. They are squatting on a lot more of our land, and this makes makes it a lot cheaper and a lot quicker to justify on them. So we're going to do that. They should not pick up any guarantees. World tension is still too low, and we have not generated sufficient amounts of world tension for a guarantee to pop up here. So don't worry about that too much before they pick up a guarantee. Am I right? As for focuses, we're now going to continue with the domestic arms industry, more factories, and we're going to wait for the next event in the chain. We're going to choose a mediator, and we're going to choose the French. A little side note here, I have started work on fuel refining because I will need fuel. I'm going to take the Romanian oil eventually, but I'll need some fuel refining to keep up with the requirements. We got the entirety of Transylvania handed over to our administration. We have taken full control. This is going to give us all of that stuff. It's going to remove war preparation. This is the most unlikely event. The other outcome is where they give you North Transylvania, just north. That's fine. And then the other one is you go to war, France has your back, and you crush Romania. Fortunately, we are still taking on that war goal, so we're going to wait here until we are ready to go to war with Yugoslavia, and we're going to use that to draw Romania into the war as well. So in the case that they only give you North Transylvania, that is your in into taking the rest of the stuff you need. You draw them into the war by kicking Yugoslavia around. I'm actually quite surprised that they gave up that easily. They almost never do that. The layout of the terrain here is pretty terrible, so I've changed our troop deployment. I'm not going to sit on the border because we are extending our supply lines too far. Nothing is close enough to a supply hub on that front, definitely not near Brasov. So instead, what I've done here is fall back to a defensible position that is more or less within our own supply lines, behind a river, in mountains, and just let the Romanians come. I don't care. We are going to focus our efforts on taking out Yugoslavia first. This might be a little bit difficult, but Yugoslavia really cannot stand up to the pressures. They don't have what it takes to be a real country, trust me. And nobody else is going to get involved except for Romania. Now we are at war. Great. So we can immediately, no, not immediately, we have to wait for the Treaty of Trianon to disappear, and now we can have some manpower. And because we're non-aligned, we have to use wars to go up to extensive conscription. There is no other way to do it. We have to do it now. Extensive conscription it is. That is why I've been sitting on all this political power. So we can actually get some manpower into the field. Men will flood into our armies now. We're also going to start some offensives here. Yugoslavia is going to start reshuffling its troops around. That's fine. And we're going to make use of that to start punching holes in their lines. We want to make encirclements. We want to destroy their armies. And we just want to take their victory points. As far as Romania is concerned, let them come. Let them walk to the border. We really don't care. Let's get our air forces up, and we're going to start bombing the hell out of Yugoslavia. Slow the game down a little bit, and we'll play with some micromanagement. And the tanks have already breached. As soon as they punch a hole, make sure they keep moving. Mobile units are incredibly valuable. Belgrade is guarded, so instead I'm just going to drive around it. As you can see, Yugoslavia is leaving massive holes in the line. It doesn't have enough troops to cover this entire front. So what we're going to do is walk through wherever we can, pin divisions into place where we can't just walk through, and make encirclements, destroy their army, push for the victory points, make this quick, make this painless, just get it over with. And we're about to destroy a northern section of, the Yugoslav army. So far, the war in Yugoslavia is going well. It's taken a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I'm trying to do this cleanly. A lot of divisions are encircled, they're being destroyed. Belgrade's still encircled. I've got most of the victory points I want. I think once I take Belgrade and Dubrovnik, this area should be fine. You can see the Yugoslav army is not in great shape. And there goes Yugoslavia. Nothing fancy to it. Simply take everything. Take all states and bada bing, bada boom. And now we need to reclaim the rest of our birthright. Simply set up a field marshal order, draw a line across Romania, and now we will carve up Romania. They've been banging against my front for quite a while. They've taken casualties. Their divisions are not in the best shape, and we outnumber them. So it's a matter of getting our fresh troops into position and getting ready for a fight. Nothing fancy here. I could make fancy maneuvers, but honestly, just bash your head into them, you should be fine. Though, whenever they do last stands, the AI loves to cheat with last stands. Let it wear out before you resume your offensive. It's super annoying. And if you find yourself running out of fuel because you have no oil, a pretty sizable air force, and some tanks, just trade with the Soviets for a while. It's okay if you strengthen them. They're easy enough to kill anyway. And Romania fought valiantly, but at the end of the day, they really do not stand a chance. Now, what do we do here? Obviously, you want the oil. Alternatively, you can simply puppet Romania. If they haven't handed over all of Transylvania yet, take Banat, Crisana, Transylvania, and North Transylvania. Things to be careful for are Bukovina, Bessarabia, and Southern Bessarabia. The Soviet Union will justify for these, and if you don't have all of them, you will not get the event to hand it over, meaning you'll fight the Soviets early. So you could liberate Bessarabia as, what is this? Moldova? But Moldova will not get Bukovina, and the Soviets will simply get Bukovina from you, and you'll go to war. In short, either take all of it, literally all of this, or leave a puppet that has Bessarabia, Southern Bessarabia, and Bukovina. That's it. I'm just gonna take all of it because I deserved it. And we're done. And what we can now also do is click the glorious button, reintegrate the empire, and give ourselves a bunch of cores. And with cores comes manpower, factories. So we're up to 53 civilian factories. We're up to 53 military factories. That's a little disappointing, actually. And we're up to about a good amount of manpower. Not enough. We'll need more. Now, at this point, we have a nice chunky Austria-Hungary. If you want Miklos Horthy and the Habsburg Prince, though, there is more work that needs to be done. We will need to kill the Allies, and kill the Allies early, and we will need to kill the Axis, preferably before they completely trash the Soviet Union. To that end, what you want to do at this point is start making boats. Now, we only have the one dockyard, so I'm scaling my UI, and I can't delete anything here, but what you want to do is start building more naval dockyards, and as many of these as you can manage. With those, you're going to want to spam out submarines. If you've planned for this, you'll probably start researching subs a little earlier than myself. Now, as an alternative, you can squeeze out many fighters, as many as you can manage, and as Hungary, you can manage quite a few, and combine those with paratroopers and transports to give yourself an in the United Kingdom. The key is to defeat them before mid-1941, because that is when the USA joins and everything turns to shit. Why is that? Well, you'll need to cap the USA. Occupation is not enough. You will need to own, which means through a peace deal, Franche-Comté, and if I'm not mistaken, Palestine here, and yeah, Palestine and Jordan. You will also need to own Veneto, South Tyrol. I'm not sure about Istria, but I do know Emilia-Romagna. Half of Italy, let's just say half of Italy. And you will need to own the provinces of Niederschlesien and Oberschlesien and Zaolzie, which is still ours. Never mind. Anyway, I'm not gonna do that now. I've had a terrible week. I just wanted to have some fun and restore Austria-Hungary. If you want to see me give it a try, I will give it another go after By Blood Alone releases, which will be soon. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video, and I hope you can have a lot of fun restoring Austria-Hungary. See ya. Ah, you thought that was the end, wasn't it? Well, so did I. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to go all the way with this. We formed Austria-Hungary, but I can give you more. So I figured, how can I give you Miklos Horthy and the Habsburg Prince? Well, I'll make a long story short. I was playing this game, and I figured, let me show you. First off, we built up. We used our little time in between to build up. The Soviets justified on us for Bessarabia, so we gave that away, didn't want to fight the Soviets early. We, in turn, justified on Britain, which is fortunate because Italy justified on us for our Yugoslav holdings. We declared war on Britain, that gave us an in into the Axis, and Italy stopped being a problem. That's where we are right now. We've done a little building up, we've secured the coastline, we helped Italy take out Greece. All well and dandy. I've used that significant industry to build up about 1,500 fighters. I could get more if I really focus on it, and I'm gonna back those up with about 1,000, maybe 1,200 close air support. And these bad boys are going to go to town. Paratroopers are going. And they have gone. Okay, as we can see, the naval base is guarded. There's a small unit on this naval base, and there's a significantly larger unit on this naval base, which means we're not immediately going to be able to take that. Let's see what they do. We're going to keep dropping units. Like, they take massive strength damage simply because of the amount of AA the UK has in the region. It hurts your paratroopers a lot. We're going to get these guys to push this unit out of the naval base. They are entrenched, and my units are terrible, so this is not very likely to succeed if this is an actual competent unit. Fortunately for us, this is a trash unit. This is the second Sudanese colonial, so under the British colonial colonial units. They are terrible, absolutely terrible, but we're gonna give it a go. A much better approach, of course, is to have the UK attack your unit. That will force them to walk out of the naval base, and then you walk into the naval base. We, unfortunately, are not that lucky. It has become very difficult to invade the UK using paratroopers. I'm sure some of you are very good at memeing this. I'm not. And I've pushed them out. Brilliant. Next step is to bring over the regular army. Huh, well that's odd. Apparently this has become a naval invasion. Guess we're doing that then. Again, we have an army here, and we have our tanks standing by. Our entire air force is deployed, and contrary to popular belief, you don't need green air for paradrops. You only need 60% of air power if one side, at least one side, has airplanes up. As you can see, this is all gray. Everything is gray. No one has any airplanes up, which means it's irrelevant. All right, we've landed on Portsmouth, and let's see, next to Portsmouth. This is an actual unit on Portsmouth. Don't want to attack that. What I'm seeing on Dover here is the Hong Kong VDF. That looks like a weak colonial unit. So once we get more units dropping, we're going to attack that. And our units have dropped. Excellent. We're going to put all of our air power up. So all of our fighters, all of our CAS over southern England, close air support, logistic strikes, air superiority. We are going to hammer home, and we're going to take Dover, or at least going to try and take Dover. Set up a defensive line and hit last stand. I just need to buy time. Going to take all of our infantry, ship them across, forcibly send them over to Dover. I know we don't have any sort of naval power to defend those boats. I cannot afford to right now. Just rush everything into Dover. Make sure the port of Dover is going to be maximized. Yeah, should be fine. Again, keep the air power up. It's the only thing keeping us going. And the downside with every one of these strategies, it's always the same. The UK by now has a lot of troops at home. If you can catch them early, so early 1940, you can catch them with their pants down and have their army deployed in Africa. Unfortunately, they've already won in Africa and they're not yet committed in Asia, so a lot of the UK troops are at home. Anyway, with our army now landing, it's just a matter of pushing out. We can take London, and if we can push up to the Liverpool line between Hull and Liverpool, the UK should capitulate. Now, you're gonna want some war participation, otherwise you're not gonna walk out of here with much, but should be okay. Anyway, even with my silly little invasion doing poorly and forgetting to not take London, I've still got 15% participation. We'll get a little bit more, but that's about it. We are gonna come out of this with about 20% contribution, so it's not brilliant, but it's better than nothing. And there we go. So the things we need are not accessible to us, I'm afraid. We need Franche-Comté. We're not gonna get that. Germany takes that straight away. We also need Palestine and Jordan. We're not gonna get that. We just simply did not have the participation. They went to Italy or Germany. It doesn't matter who got it. Now, what we can get is a good puppet here. We'll try to puppet the United Kingdom. That way we can access their fleet. And if you're doing this after by blood alone, there's even better ways to get the United Kingdom's fleet. And that's about it our 20% can buy, which is plenty for now. It's plenty. So in effect, that ends World War II. Except for the Russian front. What we need to do now is clean up the rest of the world. Good news is the USA is out of the picture. They'll still fight Japan, but it will be completely irrelevant for the purposes of our achievement. What we do now is integrate the United Kingdom through the puppet mechanics, or if you have by blood alone at this point, you can simply take their fleet into peace deal. Next up, we are going to crush the Soviets and cheese the hell out of the way peace deals work. That's going to be fun. I don't need these paratroopers anymore. Let's get all of our boys over to the Russian lines. Again, this war doesn't really matter that much. It's just something to do while we prepare. And by prepare, I mean we are now going to build up a massive army using our resources. Large army, good amount of tanks, good amount of airplanes, because we will need to crush the Axis now. All the territory remaining that we need is in Axis hands. Downside of joining this war so late is that Germany is already taking quite a bunch of stuff, and it's going to be very difficult to actually get our hands on some territory. Now, through our little contribution here and just asking Germany for some occupation on the border, we've been able to expand our zone of control. We're going to use the most of it, just trying to get ahead of Germany, take what land we can, get our contribution up. We're going to crush the Soviets one way or the other, but we just want to be able to do it and actually get something out of the deal. Now, at this point, you might want to get localized training centers and a Russian spy, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to fire one of my spies and start working on collaboration governments. And I'll be honest, you want to get these these collaboration governments a little sooner than this, because otherwise you'll have to walk to, well, the victory points over here, past the Urals. Alright, that nightmare is over, so fighting the Soviet Union without collapse is a horrible, horrible idea. Fortunately, I think we'll walk out of this with a reasonable peace deal points. We got good contribution. First thing we're gonna want to do, obviously, is create some puppets if we can, preferably a big Soviet Union. Pretty much anything that will shield us from the Germans on our right flank. And with that disgusting peace deal, we've created quite a bit of a headache for the Germans. Yes, they are large, but on the right, they're completely bottled up by Russia. We're not going to call Russia into our eventual war, and they're going to get a lot of troops stuck in regions that they have no business being in. So what do we do from here? Well, from this point on, we leave the Axis, build up more troops, because I'll be honest, that foray into Russia was expensive. It took a lot out of us, but we are more than strong enough to take on the Germans with our new Russian backing. Preferably, we would annex Great Britain first, though, get use of their fleet and use their fleet to naval invade Italy, knock Italy out of the war quickly, and then just focus on burning down Germany. First things first, though, let's bring the army home. And that's the justification done. Let's take out the Italians, declare war. It's going to draw the Japanese in, it's going to draw the Germans in. We really don't care. Focus on making the lines smaller. So take out Zara, then take out whatever the Italians have in the Balkan. Rush your tanks down, rush whatever infantry you have in the region down there, and make sure your fighters and your air force in general is up to snuff and ready to support. Wherever you can in Italy itself, you can make attacks, take what land you can, shorten the line, and there goes Bulgaria. So that is a nice little cleanup. Now just going to do some more cleanup to the south here. Those two armies are then going to be freed up, one to guard my ports and one to help with invading Italy. It should all be easy. Once I can free up the tanks, everything is golden. So with some clever maneuvering, we've managed to pretty much wipe out the entire southern Italian front. So once that's cleaned up, I'm going to go to town on the rest of the country. Vichy France still hasn't picked a side, which is amazing, but they will soon. There'll be another enemy. Alright guys, I'll keep it level with you. Germany putting down a lot more pressure than I had anticipated. The north is holding, but like central Austria or upper Austria here and the Alpine line, hella thin. Really not going as planned. I should have had more units here. I jumped the gun. If you're doing this, wait a little bit longer, build more units, or don't waste as much strength on the Soviets. Just be ready for the mighty German cock to be rammed right up your ass, because this is painful nonetheless. Italy, though, yeah, not as painful. We've dealt massive damage to them in the south here. We wiped that out. All right, I think I've wiped out most of the Italian northern army. It's time for the tanks to start earning their keep. Okay, things are reasonably stable. The Alps are a disaster. Mostly because of the enemy air. They're committing so many airplanes here, and my own air force has been whittled down to almost nothing. I'm producing a lot of airplanes, don't get me wrong, but they're getting shot down a lot quicker than I can make them. But Italy, fortunately, is almost gone. I wish I could show you the casualties, but this button broke again, so I can't actually go and check the wars anymore. No longer works. Oh, thank God. The Italians are out of commission. They had a lot of guns to donate to the cause. It's very good. Now, to shore up my northern defense, get my tanks into position, and start cutting. And one fortunate side effect of the Italian capitulation is that apparently a lot of units kind of left. I had assumed there would be more Germans here. Apparently it was mostly Italians. Troops are rushing north now, should be able to do a good amount of damage next. And for some reason, like, this is extremely thinly held by Germany. I am going to try and exploit that. Just attack out, cut them in half when I can. Okay, tanks are outside Berlin. If I can pin these divisions on the sides, I can actually take Berlin. I don't really care about taking Berlin, but Berlin has all the supply I need to get the Stettin and effectively cut Germany in half. And with Germany cut in half, oh boy, the damage I can do. But they are, I think, getting wise to the danger here. Like, they are putting up significantly more resistance as things progress. Plus, they're still pushing out, and I don't want to lose more of my country. This bulge bulge is already dangerous. Fortunately, I have a pretty big bulge of my own right now. And with that, we've cut Germany in half. We didn't quite reach Stettin, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna launch an offensive towards the west. The east is just wasteland. And that is Denmark liberated of sorts. Tanks have taken a beating. I should really halt my offensives just for a while. German counterattack hit me pretty hard when I was repositioning my units, so we're getting pushed here and there. We're not in an ideal position right now. Not ideal at all. I'm gonna halt my tanks. April of 1944. My brain is pretty much gone at this point. There's not much left up there. I wish I could check, but I'm pretty sure Germany's like 60% capitulated. I'm winning again. Casualties are probably high. I'm running out of equipment. I'm running out of tanks. I'm most certainly out of airplanes. My air force has seen better days. Fortunately, I got a big stockpile of Italian guns, so I can keep this up for a little while Germany really cannot. Oh, thank God I didn't need to touch Spain. I didn't even need to touch Spain. So we just take what we need. Franche-Comté. And I'm gonna be very picky about what I take up here. Well, picky, I mean everything. Then, of course, you're going to want Niederschlesien, Oberschlesien while we're here. If I'm not mistaken, other than Palestine and Jordan. And that is all the provinces you need. Just at this point, check. Just open up the damn wiki page and check what provinces you need. I think I've got the ones that I need. I don't know. And with that absolutely disgusting peace deal, we're done. If I'm not mistaken, we've taken the provinces we need. Miklos Horthy and the Habsburg Prince is done. Europe is turned into a complete disaster. Oh, we got Victor Emmanuel back, and some dude, Stefan Fischer, is now the Emperor of Germany. Again, this was not meant to be a Miklos Horthy and the Habsburg Prince guide. This is just me trying to have a bit of fun with Austria-Hungary, and as a result, my brain is now gone. So please, if you like this video, leave a like, consider subscribing, and I hope you'll enjoy the next video as well. See ya.